What's happening, everyone? Jay Shockblast here, and man, what a legend Stan Lee is. And honestly, in making this video, it just emphasized the fact even more. Stan Lee is quite possibly one of the most important people to ever enter most of our lives because of what he did for the entertainment world that we live in. Marvel Comics is a massive part of my life. I have had so many opportunities because of characters he created and because of video games like this one, Lego Marvel Superheroes. The game that honestly really broke my channel and made it such a big thing, I guess, a somewhat big thing. It gave me a lot of my first success. And the other game that did it was The Amazing Spider-Man. So it's like double edge right there. So thank you to So Speaks Galactus. So he gave me this amazing idea to do my top 10 characters created by Stan Lee. And like I said, in making this video, it's just so incredible to think of how many characters he created and came up with, whether it was just him by himself or, you know, in unison with people like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. And the many other amazing creators that we've seen over the course of time in Marvel Comics. He has had a hand in creating just so many amazing characters, and so many so that I had to leave a ton of them off the list. And I'm like kind of cycling through some of those characters right now that I can't even believe didn't make my list of top 10 characters. Characters like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, Ant-Man, Nick Fury, Loki, Adam Warlock, Captain Marvel, Yondu, Groot, Silver Surfer, Galactus, Modok, Inhumans, Dr. Octopus, Annihilus, Fang, Foom, Black Widow, Green Goblin, Hawkeye, Falcon, J. Jonah Jameson, Kang, Juggernaut, Lockjaw, Magneto. I had to literally stop looking for amazing characters because there was just so many. And like I said, it was really difficult to leave anybody off the list. But alas, I had to. And we are going to talk about in this video the top 10 characters created by Stan Lee. And I have to say, this is a personalized list. My list might be slightly different than some, and it could have been slightly different if I had considered different things. But this is a personalized list. I will admit, number 2 on my list would have been number 1 if not for the fact that number 1 on my list is just the obvious has to be. But honestly, number 3 and 4 probably should have been number 2 and 3. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get right into the top 10 characters created by Stan Lee. At number 10, we have Doctor Strange, and it remains to be seen whether or not Doctor Strange would have even made this list if not for his resurgence recently in the movies with Benedict Cumberbatch playing him. But Doctor Strange is one of the most powerful characters in all of the Marvel Universe, and he has been a member of the Illuminati over the years. So many huge and important storylines have involved Doctor Strange, and just his mystic and mythic world is just truly amazing. Dormammu is also, you know, one of those creations of Stan Lee, but Doctor Strange, he's just so powerful, and I think the fact that he was able to translate so well into the movies and into the MCU is just a huge testament to everything that Stan Lee created. So, you know, maybe I'm romanticizing him being here because of the movies. I mean, it's very possible I could have included a lot of characters that I've already mentioned, like Silver Surfer, Galactus, Green Goblin. I mean, those are characters that really came close to making it, but for me, just Doctor Strange, it's not just the movies. Just his role in the Marvel Universe has been so massive for so long, and he comes in at number 10 on my list. At number 9 on my list, we have the Incredible Hulk and Bruce Banner. This is one of the earliest, most iconic characters in all of the Marvel Universe, and I have to say, it's just crazy to me to think that he's not even higher on my list. But that just is a testament to how great the characters he's created are. Hulk has been popular over the years, and especially in entertainment, not just in the comics. You know, we think back to the Hulk series on TV with Lou Ferrigno. You know, we think of all the different versions of Hulk, including, you know, most recently in the Avenger movies. Banner is just so important, and he's so powerful. He is, in the Marvel Universe, essentially, to me, the equivalent of Superman. He is that character that cannot be destroyed, cannot be defeated, and even though he has been from time to time, but never truly and forever, I think once we get to the end of the universe for Marvel, he is going to be sitting there with Wolverine and Deadpool and maybe a couple other characters as the Undying. And I know Thor is kind of exploring that now in his comics, but yeah, what can you say? Hulk, just such an iconic, important creation from Stan Lee, at number 9 on my list. At number 8 on my list, we have Daredevil, and I think Charlie Cox in the Netflix series has definitely brought Daredevil's marquee back to where it used to be. But when I think of being a child growing up in the 80s, Daredevil was practically on the level of SpiderMan in the Marvel Comics universe. I remember one of my favorite characters being Darkhawk, and one of the reasons he stood out to me was I believe it was Daredevil and Spider-Man that were in comics on the cover with Darkhawk. I know seeing him appear with Daredevil definitely intrigued me, because I didn't know who Darkhawk was, but I definitely knew who Daredevil was, and you know, that made me say, well, if they're friends, maybe I should check them out. And then, you know, before I knew it, Darkhawk was one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. Daredevil, you know, he was our first blind superhero, and it really, you know, showed that no matter what your obstacles, you can overcome them and be great. And I think that was one of the great features of Stan Lee characters. It was, how are you going to overcome the things that are before you and become all you can be? And very few characters taught that lesson more than Daredevil. And that is why he is number 8 on my list. At number 7, we have Black Panther. And Black Panther was teaching lessons in diversity, you know, back in a time where it was very, very important and very, very underutilized. Black Panther is one of our first major black superheroes, and he has honestly made such a huge name for himself in the last few years because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because of, you know, Ryan Coogler and Chadwick Boseman, their work in portraying him and writing him and directing him and putting him out in the forefront of the MCU. But Stan Lee got him there, and T'Challa is just such a great character, and you know, he's one of the richest, if not the richest characters in all of the comic book universe. It's really interesting to see the way that he, you know, kind of popped in. I think he first appeared in a Fantastic Four issue and just became such a huge part of the Marvel Universe. Member of the Illuminati, just everything that, you know, young, impressionable kids want to see themselves represented as. And, you know, Stan Lee got us there at a time when the world was very different than it is now. And I know there's a lot of, I don't know the word I want to use, but I know that there can be some despair and it feels a little hopeless at times. But, you know, Black Panther is that bright light for so many people. And it's been really cool to see the way that people have like really taken to him, and it's really, it has to put a smile on Stan Lee's face, or it had to have anyway. And it's just truly remarkable. Probably a character that could have been rated higher in a lot of ways, but you know, here he is making the list nonetheless. At number 7, Black Panther. At number 6, we have Doctor Doom. And my lord, Doctor Doom is just quite possibly one of the most important villains in all of the Marvel Universe. I think Thanos has kind of usurped him a little bit, as far as especially considering the movies lately. But Doctor Doom is the OG of bad guys as far as I'm concerned, and it is important that we have him on this list. I could have possibly put him even farther had it not been for there just being such an amazing list of characters to go with. Even recently in the comic books, Doctor Doom has been a God Emperor, and he is, now that he will be back in the Marvel Universe, I am really, really and truly hoping that after the kind of Thanos saga is over, that Doctor Doom becomes the #1 villain of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because that's what he should be. He is every bit as manipulative and evil and powerful as Thanos, and you know, considering Thanos is a god and a titan and all those things, it's crazy to think just how underappreciated lately Doctor Doom has been comparatively. This is, when I was growing up, I could not think of the more personification of evil than Doctor Doom. Victor Von Doom is number 6 on my Stan Lee character creation list. At number 5, we have Iron Man, and quite frankly, it's crazy to me to think that anybody could create such an impressive list of characters that Iron Man would have to be like the midway point of a top 10 list. Iron Man has really risen to fame because of the MCU, but for decades he has been one of the most iconic characters in the Marvel Universe, and Stan Lee had a huge hand at the creation of Tony Stark and Iron Man, and it's just crazy. Like, honestly, you know, Robert Downey Jr. brought Tony Stark to life, but it's just, you look back at the history of the Marvel Comics, and there are a few characters more recognizable than Iron Man, and you know, I think it's just amazing the direction he's gone, how huge he's become, and you know, Stan Lee is a huge part of that history. So at number 5, we have Iron Man. At number 4, we have the X-Men, and for a lot of people, this could very well be their number 1 favorite creation of Stan Lee, and they probably should at least be one slot higher. But for me, the X-Men represent hope. They represent change, and they represent, you know, weird people being able to be understood, you know, being able to, you know, treat people with respect and dignity despite any, you know, imperfections or disabilities. Not that being a mutant is a disability, but, you know, when these characters were created, it was a different time in the world, and it helped learn and teach acceptance. And the X-Men characters are still, even today, just some of the most important characters in all of entertainment. And he may not have created every single X-Men character, but by creating the first group and many others after, he gave a place for some of the most iconic characters in all of the Marvel Universe. And not only that, but he might not have created even the definitive version of some of the characters. Like Archangel, he definitely created Angel, Wendell Worthington III, but did he create Archangel? Did he give him wings and have him be a, you know, one of the horsemen of the apocalypse? I don't know. I don't think he did. I don't think he was in on that story. And Archangel, this version, is easily one of my favorite characters in all of Marvel Comics. So, you know, this is just really strengthens just the absolute amazing importance of a lot of these characters, because it was the fact that he put them there and he gave them, you know, that opportunity for people to grow up and fall in love with them, you know, and inspire them to create other characters as part of the group. And just honestly, very, very, you know, important addition to the Marvel family. I mean, it goes without saying. And you look at, you know, the fact that the X-Men rights being acquired from Fox being such a major storyline for 2018 going into 2019, and it's just a testament to everything that Stan Lee created and it's just honestly, you can't have a Marvel list without the X-Men. So at number 4, we have the X-Men. Speaking of the Fox rights, we have number 3, the Fantastic Four, and I know for synergy, we should have probably had the Fantastic Four at number 4, but I can't do that. For me, the Fantastic Four are Marvel's first family, and they do stand a little bit above the X-Men in level of importance for Stan Lee. And I would accept an argument that the X-Men are bigger and better. And I think what's happened with the cinematic universe and the Fantastic Four just kind of, having their struggles with all of their movies, if we're being honest, I think that has made them, fall off a little bit in their popularity. But make no mistake about it, Marvel's first family is every bit as important as any group in the Marvel Universe. And I just can't think of you've got the Future Foundation version too. They were one of the first stories of Marvel Comics I ever really followed and got to read and love and understand. And Doctor Doom being on the list as basically their biggest villain is also a testament to that fact. I mean, these are 4 of the most important characters in the Marvel Universe, and their mistreatment by Marvel lately, all because of movie rights, it's awful, and it's unfortunate, but they're back, and I think especially now that Disney is about to get their rights, we're going to see them done right, see them done justice, and it's just unfortunate Stan Lee isn't going to be here to see them return to their glory. And Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, sitting here at number 3. At number 2, we have Thor, and it is very important to point out that this is my personal list. So obviously somebody that named their dog Thor after this character created in the Marvel Universe anyway, by Mr. Stan Lee, has to be at number 2. Now, I will listen to arguments that he should be rated a little bit lower, that the Fantastic Four and X-Men probably should be rated above him, and I will agree to that. That is kind of fair. But for me, few characters mean more to me created by Stan Lee than Thor himself. And every time I say his name, I have to look to my left because there is that little face nudging his way into my lap. Thor is one of my favorite characters in all of entertainment. I love Thor, and so much so, again, I named my dog after him. Now, Thor is obviously a Norse god, and Stan Lee borrowed from mythology in order to create him, but that doesn't change the fact that he is such an iconic character in all of the Marvel Universe, right there with his little brother over there, Loki. And these are creations and brought to us by Stan Lee. So I have to say, when we think about the impact on our lives, the fact that my dog is named after this character that he kind of brought to the forefront, I don't know if this character ever would have meant enough for me to literally name my dog after him, if not for Stan Lee. So at number 2, very high on my list, we have Thor. And honestly, the number 1 character was a no-brainer. It really just goes without. At number 1, we have Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is easily one of the top 2 or 3 most recognizable characters in all of comics. When you think of characters in comic books, he's right there with Batman and Superman. I feel like those are the 3 most iconic names in all of comics. And Stan Lee is, a shining reason for that. I think he is definitely the character that we all associate with Stan Lee. And it's just honestly, like, life-changing the way this character has just honestly made his way into everyday culture. I mean, I can look no further than my little next-door neighbor, Spencer, who is going to be 3 years old soon. He's kind of like halfway through his terrible twos. And, you know, dressed up as Spider-Man for Halloween last year. And I have this awesome picture of Spencer and my dog Thor, both dressed as 2 awesome Stan Lee creations. And it's just really, really cool. And like, that is the power of Stan Lee, you know, here in, well, that was from 2017. So like in the year 2017, 94 years into his life, you know, 2 different generations of well, I mean, 3 generations, I mean, if you want to think about it in a way, but like just 2 different generations of comic book fans, one being created, one, you know, right in the prime. It's just, he really had such a huge lasting effect. And Spider-Man is the best of the best when it comes to Stan Lee. I don't think it's possible, like, I don't think it's possible anybody could put any other character at number 1 when we think of just the importance. And I think of Spider-Man, his cameo in Spider-Man PS4, and it's just incredible. It was the perfect way to remember Stan Lee, and Spider-Man number 1 without doubt. So that does it. That is my top 10 list of the best characters, greatest creations of Stan Lee. Make mine Marvel. Enough said. Excelsior. Thank you so much, Stan Lee. I know you're not here anymore, but you will always be with us because of your creations, because of the amazing things that you did in your life. And I know I speak for just millions of people all over the world when I say I can't envision a life without your work. And, you know, I know it's not, you know, curing cancer, and I know it's not, you know, ending hunger and war, but entertainment is a very major part of our lives. Being able to be happy and have something to hold on to and love and enjoy is sometimes every bit as important. And I think what Stan Lee did is he made all of our lives better in ways that maybe we're never going to fully understand. And, you know, he was 95, he lived a great life, and, you know, it's just sad to see him go, but we can sit here and appreciate everything that he created, had a hand at co-creating, whatever you want to call it, whatever it may be. You just thank you, Stan Lee. What a wonderful life. What do you guys think? What are your 10 favorites or any of favorites? Some characters I didn't even get to mention. I mean, there's so many. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you.